Welcome back everyone, this is part 2 of my tank destroyers video. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, make sure to check it out first, and just like the usual, I'm gonna skip tank destroyers I already covered before, and I'm also going to make a part 3 in the future where I'm gonna cover the rest of the tank destroyers. Let me know if you wanna see a video about light tanks or medium tanks or SPA, because I'm planning on making videos about them too, and I'm planning on making my uploads more consistent, and these videos take a long time to make, so a sub would be amazing. DL3. This little cutie is very fun and great for trolling, especially at higher BRs. You'll always find one or two in a top tier game. It's not that strong at 1.0 and it's not meant to be a tank destroyer in my opinion, more like a good luck charm for the team. F tier. Relax, I'm joking, delete your comment. S tier for sure, this thing is awesome. The Si Movente L40. This tank destroyer is pretty much the first Italian tank destroyer on the list if you don't consider the L3 as a tank destroyer. And it's pretty capable if you take advantage of its firepower and mobility, but the armor is unreliable. C tier. The Ho-Ro. This Japanese SPG is very strong with an HE shell that will obliterate anything you face. You can also fire an AP-HE shell, but the HE is much more effective. It also has a great mobility with a good reverse speed, so you can retreat to safety to reload because this thing takes a long time to reload. A tier. The Lancia. Playing this Italian truck feels a lot like playing SnowRunner. It comes with a variety of good shells. You got HE, HESH, Heat, and a weak AP-HE. It doesn't have any armor and the mobility is not the best, so you gotta be stealthy with it, because once you get spotted, you're done. D tier. The Rogo EXP. This experimental SPG has a very strong cannon with an HE and a sap shell with decent penetration. It is very slow and the reload is kinda long for 1.7, but it can be very hard to take down. B tier. The IKEA 72. The IKV-72. This is the first Swedish tank destroyer on this list. It is very fast and can be very hard to spot due to the low profile. It fires a decent AP-HE shell and the gun depression is great, which makes it ideal for sniping. Just don't get spotted because the armor is not gonna save you. B tier. The Saab M43 1944. This Swedish assault gun is similar to the German Stock 3 with a solid frontal armor and a decent mobility. It doesn't have a strong AP-HE shell, but it's pretty okay for its BR. B tier. The Swedish tank destroyer fires a strong HE shell that can work well even in up tiers. And it comes with a decent frontal armor, but no armor on the side, so even a tiny bump can kill it. It's really awesome. I even tried it in higher BRs and it did really well. It's really great if you know how to play with it. A tier. The Si Movente 7518 M41. This Italian SPG fires a heat shell with a great penetration. It also fires an AP-HE shell, but it's not that effective. It does have a good reload, but it's very slow and the armor is not that great, reducing its survivability. C tier. The Si Movente 7532 M41. This SPG comes with an improved AP-HE shell with a slightly longer reload. It still has the weak armor and mediocre mobility, but it's a nice upgrade. B tier. The Si Movente 7534 M42. Last SPG improved the firepower, and this one improves the speed instead. It does have a strong heat shell, smoke grenades, but the weak armor really holds it back. B tier. The Zrinyi Secondo. This assault gun is really great. It fires both HE and heat shells, and it's really effective at taking down most tanks. It has a strong armor and improved add-on tracks, and it's really fast in both directions thanks to the reverse gearbox. A tier. The Ho-Ni-1. This Japanese SPG has a very powerful gun that fires an AP-HE shell with great penetration. It has a decent mobility with a good reverse speed, but has no significant armor, and the open top design makes it vulnerable to cast and bombs. B tier. The Ho-Ni-3. This is somewhat an upgrade to the Ho-Ni-1 with a slightly improved reload and added armor to the sides and roof, slightly increasing its survivability. But despite the add-on armor, it is still weak to SPA and CAS. B tier. The Shiha long gun. This Japanese prototype comes with a powerful cannon that can fire HE and a stab shell with a good penetration. It is very hard to spot due to having no armor, but that makes it very weak to small caliber MGs and small bombs. But still, it is really effective and I had many good games with it, even in higher BRs. A tier. Simovente 105 M43. This is another Italian assault gun with a decent cannon that can fire 8 PHE and heat. It does have an okay armor, but you can still take it down with one shot sometimes. And just like the usual, it does have a terrible mobility. B tier. There is also the G.C.Leoncello, which is basically the premium version of the Simovente 105. Other than that, it's the same, so B tier as well. The Simovente 75 M34. This is one of the few Italian SPGs with a capable armor thanks to its improved upper front plate. The cannon is pretty okay for its BR and the reload is pretty great. It still has a terrible mobility and can be easily taken down with a well-placed shot to the lower front plate. A tier. The Simovente 90 M41M. This is one of my favorite SPGs in the game. It has a very strong cannon with a great APHE shell that can work well even in higher BRs. It can only carry 8 shells, but it's not that bad since you can just use the ammo crate. A tier. The NATO. This tank destroyer has a powerful cannon and the engine at the front increases its survivability. It does have a thin armor though, so it's pretty weak to CAS and MGs. A tier. The Saab M43 1946. This Swedish tank destroyer can fire a strong heat shell with over 200 mils of penetration. Imagine 200 mils of penetration at 3.0. But if you know War Thunder, you know that heat doesn't work well in the game sometimes. It has the same armor as the 1944 version, but it's not that effective anymore. B tier. The Panzerkampfwagen 3. The PvKv has a fast reload with a decent APHE shell and it has a very low profile, making it ideal for ambushing enemies. However, it's very fragile because it doesn't have a significant armor, but still it's pretty great. A tier. The Saab December 20 1948. This Swedish assault gun is very OP. It has a powerful cannon with a 1-second reload, so facing it can be a nightmare sometimes. It is similar to the French tanks with an autoloader that carries 6 rounds. And when those run out, you gotta retreat, because reloading each round takes 15 seconds, but you can do that in safety because it has smoke grenades and a good reverse speed. S tier. The Zrinyi Uno. This tank destroyer is kinda like the Matilda Hedgehog, with fixed rockets that are tricky to aim and mostly useless in my opinion. But you don't really need them because the main gun is strong and reloads quickly. It's just as fast and agile as the Zrinyi 2, but the armor doesn't do well anymore. A tier. The Simovente 7546 M43. It has a strong cannon with a well-armored upper front plate that can save you sometimes. It's still not the best in terms of mobility, and the lower front plate is still pretty weak. B tier. The Breda 9053. This Italian tank destroyer is pretty similar to the flak bus. It has a powerful cannon and is very fast, but it still struggles at turning, especially at low speeds. And it has no armor, so it can be an easy target sometimes. C tier. The IKV 103. This Swedish assault gun can fire heat and heat fast with impressive penetration, but only when it works. It's very tiny, so you can sneak around and take down your enemies without being seen. It does have a paper armor and it has no MGs for a gun that fires heat. B tier. The Panzer Wagen 2. This tank destroyer is like a sniper. It has a powerful cannon and a great zoom, making it ideal for long-range engagement. It can be used at close range too, but the reload and armor can make that difficult sometimes. A tier. Panzer Wagen M43 1946. This German-inspired tank destroyer is very good. It has a powerful gun with a good reload and is really great at long-range maps. Honestly, it does have a good frontal armor for an open-top vehicle, but it's still weak to flanking and cast. A tier. Honorable mentions. The AK-9K. This thing is a menace. It's pretty much a tank destroyer with wings. It's really fun to use and most of the time you'll never see it coming. S tier. Breda 501. Here is another wheel tank destroyer with a powerful cannon. It's great for flanking at some maps, but the cannon rotation is very slow and the gun depression is really disappointing. And just like most wheel vehicles in the game, it sucks at turning, especially at low speeds. D tier. The Panzer Wagen M43 1963. This is basically an improved version of the PvKv M43's 1946. It has a powerful cannon that can fire an APHE and a strong APDS that you won't really need at 5.0. Really, APDS is not that necessary, especially at low tier. The armor is the same, so it's not that survivable anymore. B tier. The Japanese variants of the M36. This is basically the hull of the regular M36 with the turret of the M36B2, so it can fire APHE, APCR and HFS. And just like most American tanks, it has the fast turret rotation and has a 50 cal, so you can defend yourself from SPA and CAS. A tier. The M36B1. This is basically the M36 turret on a Sherman. I forgot to mention it on the Sherman video. Watch that in case you haven't seen it yet. Just like a Sherman, it has a decent mobility, weak armor, fast turret rotation, and a 50 cal of course. A tier. The PLZ-83. This is the first Chinese tank destroyer that is actually unique to the Chinese tree, because most of the early Chinese tree is either American, Soviet or Japanese. The PLZ-83 is basically a Chinese 2S3M. It has a bigger profile and just like the 2S3M, it has the same slow turret rotation, long reload and terrible gun depression. C tier. The Type 75 SPH. This self-propelled howitzer is similar to the M109 but with a fast reload thanks to its autoloader. It also has a better acceleration with a slower top speed, but the reverse speed is much better. It's really great at taking down both tanks and planes, and just like the M109 you can turn the whole tank because it's really slow. S tier. The Hori prototype. This Japanese tank destroyer is pretty great. It has a solid cannon and the reload is kinda fast for its BR. It also has a decent gun depression, which makes it great for long range engagements. The armor is fine, but it can be easily taken down by a good player. A tier. The Type 60 SPRG. This tiny anti-tank vehicle is pretty similar to the M50 Ontos. You can fire each rifle separately or at the same time, and that's better for close range in my opinion. It is fast and agile, and the low profile makes it great for stealth takedowns. The great gun depression is also good for long range because this thing has no armor, so you gotta be very smart with it. And I also gotta mention that this thing looks like a shotgun that sounds like thunder when it fires. B tier. The Type 60 ATM. When I first saw this APC, I was surprised because 6.7 is kinda early for ATGMs. But when I used it, I realized why. It fires manually guided missiles that are very slow and controlled with the keyboard, unlike the mouse like most ATGMs. It only works for long range because the missiles have this initial arc that skips most tanks at close range. It is really fun to use sometimes when you get good at using it because the missiles are very powerful and will one-shot most tanks. It's still painful to use at most maps, and most enemies can easily dodge your missiles if they see them coming. F tier. The Bkan 1C. I've been waiting to try this thing for so long, and when I did, it was pretty awesome. It fires a powerful HE shell with a very fast 3 seconds reload. Imagine 3 seconds reload at 6.7. It's really great at taking down planes and tanks, and the spread out crew and thin armor makes it very hard to kill sometimes. Unless you aim for the ammo rack at the back, and that's even harder to hit, especially when it's facing you. And just like most SPAGs, it can be easily destroyed by SPA and CAS, but this thing is pretty amazing. S tier. Honorable mentions. The Leopard 4070. This SPA is dangerous against planes, and even tanks are not safe from it. It has no armor, but with how fast it is, most tanks will struggle while trying not to be flanked with it. A tier. Alright, we have arrived at 7.0 where we have some unique tank destroyers, and I'm thinking about making a tier list for light tanks and medium tanks and also SPAs, so let me know in the comments what you want to see first. The Type 75 MLRS. This Japanese rocket artillery system is not meant for a game like War Thunder. It can rapidly fire 30 rockets that can overpressure most tanks, but it only works for long range and the rockets are not very accurate and don't even work sometimes. B tier. The Hori production. Unlike the prototype, the Hori production has a very strong armor and is very hard to kill for most tanks. The cannon is powerful with a decent reload, and you can peek hills with it and be more impossible to take down. And just like most tank destroyers of this design, the Hori production is very weak to flanking, and most of the time you'll get bombed by a revenging player. A tier. The Type 99. This SPH has an autoloader, so it has a fast reload, and the HE shell can overpressure any tank. It's great for long range, and it can take down planes and even jets thanks to its fast shell velocity. It does have a thin armor, but you can always reverse to get out of a sticky situation. A tier. The PLZ-83 130. This is a variant to the PLZ-83 with a powerful cannon that can fire an APHE round that can pen any tank, even in up tiers. It's really OP, but their long reload, big profile and bad gun depression really hold it back. B tier. The PLZ-05. Just like most howitzers at 7.0, the PLZ-05 comes with a strong HE shell and a fast reload. You can also fire a SAP shell that can work on light tanks, but the HE is more than enough. It should be at 7.3 in my opinion because it kinda struggles at 7.7, but it makes sense due to it having a spall liner that greatly improves its survivability and a rangefinder. B tier. Honorable mentions. The Firo 6. This rocket spammer can kill the mouse, IS-4M, anything basically. And even if it doesn't kill you, it will leave you critically damaged, and by the time you try to react, it will be gone. S tier. Here is the final tier list. Let me know what you think and comment down below what you want to see me do next.